the Canary Islands just seemed like one of those places that I had to go. And because it was easy, I did it. Following on Sun Tzu's advice. And I know that makes it right. That alone justifies my decision and makes it a good decision. So, I get here, and everything's fine. I get a little place to stay, start looking for work, and I find work. I get an interview, only a couple hours after sending my CV. I sent it out like at, 11 a.m. And at 5 p.m. or something like that, they phoned me, asked me to come for an interview, which, I happily went. And it was a very strange interview with two guys. It was like they were playing good cop, bad cop. But, I do realize that to some extent what the problem is that, like, even my CV is very good. And I think that some people could see it as a bit intimidating. They're my boss, and here I am with much more experience in higher levels of education than they have, and so they get kind of bitchy. So that's what happened. It was a bad interview. Well, actually, it was half good and half bad. So anyway, so then I moved to the city here, Santa Cruz. I was invited by a girl on the internet that I had met on the internet, and I went and I met them. And I had a cup of tea, and we agreed, and I moved in like 4 or 5 days later, and it was the day after my interview, something like that, 2 days after, and the day that I moved out of the room that I was staying in, which was, it was in an okay apartment. It was just like the people there were okay. So it's like it was like a small apartment with 3 bedrooms. So really, it's an apartment like with 2 bedrooms, and it's not really even made for 3 people, but there's 5, and they're scrounging their money together, and it's a nice little apartment, but not a great area, but good enough, and actually quite in a sort of surreal way. I loved it. And so like it was hot, and like both of the bedrooms had air conditioners and windows, and I had neither one. And they would fucking close their doors and sit in the air conditioning while I fucking melted. And they come out and go, "Oh yeah, it's hot," and you're like, "Fuck you, it's hot. What the fuck do you know about hot? You're sitting in fucking 69-degree fucking temperatures. I'm in 69 degrees fucking Celsius over here." What fucking, you know what I mean? Like, people look at you like that, like square in the eye. "Oh, it's hot." It's not fucking hot for you, though. So, that day when I got up to leave, I had the feeling that I wasn't feeling very good, I thought, Anyway, I got to the apartment, and I was feeling not very good, so I thought, get some food and stuff together. Anyways, this story just leads to me getting more and more sick, to the point that I'm like, I woke up and I couldn't use this arm. And, to this very day, it hurts. And I don't feel like I've got full extension of it. Pretty darn close. Like, not enough to want to go to a doctor or anything, I don't think. I don't think I need to. But I mean, I feel like I haven't got full extension of it. I don't need full extension is what my point is. And, yeah, so there. That's what happened. I got really sick. And I woke up, and I absolutely was in so much pain, and I was so sick, and this arm was just fucked up, and I went to the hospital. And like my arm was so sore that I thought, I'm not going to be able to get my ID out of my knapsack. So I just said to the woman, "I haven't got any ID. I just, fuck off. I have to go in." And, she yelled at me and stuff, and then like I just said nothing in Spanish, and they just let me in, you know, because they have to. And then the doctors and nurses were really, really nice, and I got a shot in the ass, and the doctor like talked to me, but to be honest, I didn't understand everything. But you know, anyway, anyway, I suddenly recovered. I left the hospital, and it was like everything was okay. My arm was mildly sore, but it was, you know, it felt good enough. And I went out for something to eat, and I was just like, you know, on the road to recovery, just moment by moment. You know, I could feel it. You know, like the food helping and everything, and the walking and the sun, and better and better all the time. Get back to the place to stay. I went out that night, and in the bar there were some people, and they asked me to come to a party the next night, and I went. I was gonna go on, and just as I was gonna go, the girl from the apartment comes and says to me, "Will you come and talk to me?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah, sure." And I go out, and she says, "Yeah, you have to move out." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh yeah, here on the calendar, you can move out to this day." And then like, I'm like, "What? I don't have to fucking move out. Like, you move the fuck out. You know, I've been here 7 fucking days. What's the problem?" And they say to me, "Well, you know, you use the bathroom." I'm like, "What? Do you want me to stop using the bathroom?" And they go, "And then like you don't clean up." And it's like, you know, I've been here 7 days, and actually I do clean up, and I'm really quite clean. And anything that like extra that needs to be done, you just have to tell me. You know, it's not like our communication has come to a situation that we've got to part company or something like that now, because, you know, I mean, I've been here 7 fucking days. It doesn't. So they freak out, and I say to them, you know, I've got rights, and I'm not moving. I'll move when I want to move. And I went out, and then I came back, and they started like a war against me, and, you know, like turning the water off when I was in the shower and stuff like that. And then they went to the police, and they wrote this bizarre note that said, statement I should say, that said that I said, what did it say? Yo soy Europino, yo soy Europina, y ustedes son fuck you. It doesn't even make sense. It's saying I'm a European and you guys are fuck you. And they went to the police to tell them that. So anyway, the next day they're on the warpath, and Maria is from you know, the preparation school, is obsessed. And so I fucking ask her to phone and talk to these guys and say, like, you know, I'm a good person and they're making a mistake, and obviously, you know, something has to be settled in a more reasonable manner. And she phones them, and then she fucking writes, she says to them, "Let me speak to Kevin." And she tells me on the phone that, like, "Oh, they're telling me you did this and you did that." And like, I did nothing. And like, that's why I asked you to phone, because you're supposed to know, like, that I'm a good person, and that those things must be lies. And I'm asking you to phone to defend me, not. And she writes me an email, like, the most accusatory thing. She's insane. Fucking insane. And it's just, I can't believe it. I mean, it's just impossible that day, it's a Sunday, I'm sitting on the bed, I have a temperature of like 104. I've got my landlady screaming at me with blasting music, thinking that she's going to intimidate me, but actually I can barely hear either one of them. And it's really fucking hot outside. And in my hand, well, my laptop, I have a letter from Maria that says, Actually, I should read it to you, but basically, I can't believe the things that you've done. You said this, and you think that you're tough and you pick on women, and if you think this impresses me, it doesn't, and they're right to not want you to live there, and it's like, what the fuck? How do I get to this day? Like, this is what I don't understand. It's an impossibly bad day, and I'm right in the middle of it. And how? Where are my bad decisions? Like, where am I doing things that are so negative that I drive myself into a situation that's impossible? So anyway, it gets worse. So what happens then is I get really sick. Now they're out. They've left the house. It's a couple hours later. And they're out looking for an apartment for me to move into right fucking now. Like this afternoon. And they're going to these people's houses that are like from, the South America. There's like 11 people in there with kids, and there's no windows. And they're telling them, yeah, and no internet. And they're telling them, yeah, don't worry, he doesn't need the internet. You can get one of those fucking internet sticks. He needs fucking, it's perfect, it's good, he'll take it. And I'm like, no, I fucking won't. I'm standing in the hallway of this woman from like fucking Peru or something, apartment, and I mean it. There are like at least 8 people, and like some of them are babies, and the room is like next to the kitchen, so like everyone's sitting like in like here, and then your bedroom's here, and there's no window. Well, actually there's a window, but there's a wall, like an outer wall, from the next building or some fucking thing, maybe 8 feet away or something. And it's like where they put you when you come out of prison or something like that, or and you'd think, oh my god, my cell was better, at least it was fucking quiet. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, I'm being marched around. I'm so sick that I'm almost delirious by people who just fucking hate me, and I don't even have a clue why. Like, I don't have a clue. That they might be mildly displeased with my hygienic habits. Well, okay, fair. I mean, that's reasonable, I guess, but they should talk about it. But these people hate me. They're insulting me. They're walking down the street and telling me that they want me out of this fucking house, and that Maria said you'll move out right now, and Maria speaks for you, and you. Oh my God! And it's just like, how is this happening to me? So that day I get so sick that even they can't fucking take it, and they phone an ambulance. And I go to the hospital, and I'm in the hospital, like, this is the second time, and now I'm there for I don't know how long, and I am absolutely delirious, I'm doing my very best to keep myself from not thinking delirious thoughts, but I can't stop. And at some point I said to one of the nurses or something, I'm not here. And they just came running at me, and to hold me up. And then, wow, I don't even remember if I said that in English or if I said no estoy aquí. And so I get back to the apartment, and before I went in the ambulance, before the ambulance was even thought of, I went to the kitchen, and I was so sick, and I spoke to Maria and stuff, and I said to them, look, I'm so sick that I'm going to die. I have no idea why you hate me, but you hate me. But I need a bit of time. I will move out of here. I won't fucking say a word, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to make it miserable for anyone. Just all I need is time. I know how to do it. I'll look up ads and stuff. And I went and then I went to the hospital, and I came back, and I went to bed, and I literally stayed there. I sneaked out in the day and bought fruit and something to some other kind of food to eat, which was all absolutely just, oh my God, it was so terrible to eat. My throat was sore. I got my medicine, on the first day from the pharmacist who was like retarded and asking me, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? I'm like, yeah, because I'm a pharmacist. And I think that was Sunday night, and I think on Wednesday morning I woke up and I was reasonable, and like my arm was okay and stuff. Wow, and I found some ads and I wrote, and it was just like this girl, she fucking ends up phoning me and saying, yeah, I can come and see it now. And I tell her, look, I'm having a bit of a problem, and if I like it, can I move in now? She's like, yeah, sure. So I go down there and I see it, and I don't give a fuck what it is, I'm moving. And I go back to that apartment and I get all my stuff, and I can't really use this arm, I mean, I can kind of move it, but I can't like pick stuff up. And so with one hand I take my stuff downstairs in 3 shifts and go to the bar and ask the guy if I can leave it there until the shifts are done, and then I get a taxi and I go to this place. And I mean, I don't know how she, I don't know what she must have been thinking, because I just, you know what I mean? And I had lost weight and everything, and I was feeling, fucking fucked up. And she must have just thought, oh my God, what have I agreed to? And I come in, and I mean, I don't really remember much. All I did there was eat. I went to the store every day. I ate like 5 meals deliberately every day to try to gain weight, and really I haven't gained it. And in fact, I sincerely haven't. I need to gain at least another 5 kilos, at least. I mean, to be normal. My underwear is too big on me, and yeah, I mean, the thing is that the apartment was like too small, and I couldn't really smoke, and so after a few days I started to look again, and with the help of Mila, I came across the ad for this place, and I came here, and to be honest, I was still really sick and really tired and feeling very burned out. And the thing is that I certainly wasn't smoking a lot then. And when I got here, I just continued to eat and eat and eat. And, started looking for jobs and stuff. And I don't know, maybe I didn't focus enough on here, or maybe I should be like knocking on doors or whatever, but one thing led to another, and I kept thinking I had this break about this one and then this one, and it just never really worked. And in the end, I actually ended up turning down some stuff, like recently I turned down the opportunity to go to the United Arab Emirates. And really that was, I didn't want to, like, the thing is that people are getting arrested at the airport with marijuana in their bloodstream. And I have no idea how long that takes. Well, I could look it up on the internet. But I'd have to stop smoking completely and not be around anyone who smokes for say 2 weeks, and then I couldn't still be sure. And that's to walk through the airport, what about your hair and your pee and all? It's like, and can you imagine, oh my God. And then a year without smoking as well, so it just seemed weirder than Saudi Arabia. So I decided no. Freaked me out. Those stories just made me think. And the other thing, of course, is the housing. It's as simple as that. It's extremely expensive. I know the job gives you money to do it, but you end up in a situation where you've got to pay 3 months after you've worked there, and it's just not gonna, it wasn't gonna be easy, and I didn't want to do it. The job things that I've done, I just had a woman tell me last week that she had a job and she would reserve it for me, and that she wrote me an email to tell me we were going to finalize things, and it's just been blah 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 blah. Why don't you come here, fly down here for an interview? And I'm like, I'm not spending that kind of money, especially when I don't even have any fucking confidence in you. You know, I'm not gonna fucking fly and spend like 3 fucking days and hundreds of euros to go and have you fucking blubber and stutter my fucking money away, like. And anyway, I don't know how that one's working out, but man, that was weird. Like, she just goes, when we talked on the phone the first time, the job's yours, and then we're gonna finalize it, and then we should talk on Skype, and then on Skype, well, you know, you should come here for an interview. Like, wow, it seems like every time I talk to you, I get a step further away, and now you're asking me to pay to take a step even further. Like, yeah, so that's not gonna work. I'm sure of that. Yeah, so you know, then I'm here, and I'm in this room, which I'll show you. And this, which is my little closet. And frankly, you know, I haven't unpacked the window, by the way. It leads to a courtyard. And the other window that you can see, which is there, to the right out of my window, is Carlos's window. So we kind of share that courtyard, except we share it in the sense that he uses it and I can watch him use it. But tomorrow or something, I'm moving to a room that has windows finally. Real windows. Outside windows. Air. And you know, it's just all backed me in a month further and a month further and a month further. Then recently I decided that since this is going on, I'm going to get my teeth fixed. And so whatever happens, as much as I'm like a little bit confused at the moment, whatever happens, I'm still trying to take care of myself, financially, physically, mentally, things like that, you know, to keep myself going. And then the bad news. Well, I'm absolutely confident that my eyes have gotten worse. I find that camera quite hard to see. If I look right at it, of course, you know. But I woke up a couple times last week with kind of like dark creases on my eyes, and you know, it took a little while for them to go away. Then really, I mean, I don't really feel like I don't have good vision. I feel like I have reasonable. I don't see any difference between mine and anyone else's, obviously. But yeah, so anyway, I fucked up. It's Christmas Eve. And I'm doing exactly what I promised myself I wouldn't do. I'm sitting here alone and unemployed and completely fucked up, and no matter what I seem to do, you know, it's just, I mean it, God just fucking hates me. I can't make any decisions without walking straight into the cauldron of you know, fucking boiling hell. And now my vision is absolutely positively gonna go. That's all there is to it. How bad will it get? I don't know. You know, but it may get to the point where I can't find my way to a place where I can kill myself, for example. And, you know, so that's what I call the official adventures. Obviously there's lots to read about exactly what happened and stuff like that. But I wanted to make this video on Christmas Eve. How many years later? You know, 5. And nothing works. This is what I was sitting there, you know, at the beginning of this whole thing. I was right. That's the thing. Is that nothing works, nothing can, nothing will. I was right forever, you know. I should have fucking found a way like never do anything, like stay in my mom's basement forever, because I just can't catch a motherfucking break. With all of that said, of course, I do have my ups and downs, but like, I have to say I'm nowhere near the sad part feeling that I was when this began. Nowhere near it. Sometimes I'm stoned and confused and stuff, but I'm not like that. And I know that, like, inside of me, I have all the tools that I need. And I swear to God, this is not going to be the end of me. There's no way in the world I'm staying here. There's no way in the world I'm staying unemployed. It's just not happening. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do to stop it, but I'm going to stop it. And, I swear to God as my witness. I'd sure like to travel a bit more. I'd like to see China, like Asia and South America. And I'd like to do it for like long periods. And who knows, maybe that's going to happen. Anyway, I tried. I really tried, I'm sorry, like, that, if I've disappointed you. Because, like, I really tried. I mean, I remember this day last year, I was, being like, I was under siege from the landlady because I told her that she was a sociopath because she had been going into my room every day. Like, and she just went crazy because, she's also a mild psychotic as well as being a sociopath. And, Tim is such a fucking twerp, and I know that he thought, it was like, I don't think he even considered how insane it was from my perspective. He just thought, like, it's trouble for him. In fact, he told me he vomited when I told him. And so I spent the worst Christmas day of my life. And then, well, one of them, no point in comparing them now at this point. And, as soon as I could, I acted. I got myself a place to stay. I went there and did it myself in a foreign country all over again. Took a wee vacation, which wasn't great, but it was wee and it was a vacation, so fuck you. And I went back to work, and I worked hard, and I worked long, and I did really well. And I developed my own ideas, and I implemented them, and my students responded really well, really, really, really well. Like, saw me as exceptional and like excellent, for sure. And then it just ended. So, again, I thought, well, fuck me, That's even what I said to people. As they came up to me, they'd be going, oh my God. And I'd say, hey, welcome to my fucking world. But don't worry about me, Once again, if there's two people in the world that you don't have to worry about, they're both me. And I'll be fine. Things will work out. I'll just go that way. See what happens. I go that way, and what fucking happens? Oh my God, So, I forgot to mention, I did get that job, or offered at least some work, and they phoned me. They wrote to me when I was so sick that I couldn't fucking speak on the phone. And then they phoned me. And I honestly don't think they believed that I was sick. So, I never got the job. And then it just went backwards and backwards and backwards. And here I am, in a closet, effectively. A closet that has a window that overlooks a closed courtyard.